Rich girl Linda had quite the reputation but was willing to settle down for me. Until one day, I saw her at the booth, letting a guy pour drinks into her mouth. She laughed carelessly, saying she chased Ben because of a bet. Well, I'm Ben. A year later, there I was, standing before Linda as her brother-in-law. At night, she pinned me against the floor-to-ceiling window. Her voice was alluring. Does my sister know your first love was me? I stood in the cold wind, waiting at the school gate for Linda for an hour. After who knows how many calls, she finally picked up. Linda, aren't you coming? There was the sound of clinking glasses in the background. Linda, probably having just taken a sip, spoke unclearly. Sorry, forgot you asked me out. You still at school? Yeah. The noise on her end was too much. Couldn't help asking, where are you? She chuckled lightly. Want to control me? Linda's voice was slow, but icy. That's enough, Ben. You've crossed the line. She hung up without giving me a chance to say another word. The wind had numbed me completely. Recently, Linda's been acting weird, cold, like she's become a different person from when she was chasing me. I stumbled upon Twitter. 10 minutes ago, one of Linda's friends posted a video and location. Linda was at the booth, her phone lighting up with my calls. She barely glanced at it. Deciding to have a clear breakup talk, I got a cab to the place. The bar was dim and chaotic. Linda lounged lazily in the booth, letting some guy share a drink mouth to mouth. Trying to get at me. Huh? I watched from a distance as Linda leaned on his shoulder with a smile, asking. He smirked, leaning closer to Linda's ear. Am I fit? You've got a boyfriend. Linda kissed him back. After, she rested in his arms again. I chased Ben because of a bet. Won the bet, of course I'd ditch him. Did you really think I liked him? The guy deliberately asked, who do you like then? Linda's eyes were coy. Tonight, I like you the most. Before I knew it, I was standing in front of them. Kid, who are you looking for? The guy's voice was charming. Linda sat where shadows danced. Couldn't see her expression. Linda, you make me sick. I splashed a drink in her face, my voice trembling. The guy scrambled to wipe her face. She pushed him away, stepping closer to me. The golden liquor traced her cheek, dripping to her chest. Heard everything? Her lips curled. I stared at her, lifting a hand to slap. Caught in the next second by Linda. She flung my hand away, insouciant. You hate me but still like me. What's that about, Ben? Aren't you pathetic? I gritted my teeth, refusing to cry in front of her. Linda leaned down, patting my face lightly. Look at you, all bitter. Don't embarrass yourself. Without giving me a chance to argue or act, she gestured to security. Show him out. I was thrown out of the bar, standing there for who knows how long before coming to my senses. Surrounded by carefree chatter, yet I felt like I was in an icebox. My vision blurred gradually. I walked silently into the snow. I thought Linda and I were done for good. Until 2 months later, my dad proposed a marriage alliance to save our struggling family business. The intended bride was Linda, from her influential family. Only her family group can save us. Ben, help your dad. Dad. I wanted to tell him that Linda was awful. She bullied me before, and I don't like her at all. I knew if I said this, Dad wouldn't force me, but he'd shoulder the massive debts alone. His worsening health and graying hair left me unable to refuse. I knew Linda didn't like me, and after that day in the bar, all I felt was disgust. But I didn't expect her cruelty, wanting public humiliation for me, because on the wedding day Linda disappeared. What's up? The bride ran away? Yeah, she must not like Ben. I stood on stage, forced to endure the pitying and mocking stares of the guests. For the first time, I felt utterly helpless. Until Tina, the current head of Linda's family, stood before me. Linda's grandfather stood up, addressing the guests. Boldly, the invitations had a mistake by the staff. The bride was always Tina, not Linda. The wedding will proceed. Everyone please stay calm. Everyone seemed stifled by unspoken words. Linda's grandfather's excuse was clumsy, full of holes. But in this city's business circle, even if day were called night, few dared question them. I stared dully at Tina. She raised my hand, smoothly sliding on the ring. I slowly reacted, putting a ring on hers as well. The wedding's last step, the kiss. Tina looked up, hands on my shoulders. Close your eyes. Her voice was serene. Instinctively, I obeyed. The next second, a light kiss brushed my lips. Sparse applause echoed below. Just like that, I was swapped into marrying someone else. I thought I was numb until nighttime. Wedding night. In the vast villa, only Tina and me. Couldn't suppress my nervousness about what might happen. After all, sharing a bed with someone who's practically a stranger. Tina came out of the bathroom in her sleepwear. I was curled up, pretending to sleep. The soft rustling filled my ears. Tina was lying beside me, not too close, not too far. She didn't make a move. She's the one who can save my dad's company. If you make her mad, it's not gonna end well. I took a deep breath and slowly moved closer. The moment I touched her hand, she reacted, catching me off guard. She flipped over and pinned me into the comforter. I shivered a bit. Tina noticed. In the quiet air, I heard a soft laugh. She hovered above me, staring right into my eyes. Why did you come over? I could feel her grip tighten slightly around my wrist. Maybe it was my long silence, but Tina wasn't getting a reply from me. She let go and started to lie back down. I instinctively wrapped my arm around her waist, speaking in a low voice. I don't know what to do. I'm just a bit worried. Not pushing you away. Even though she's Linda's sister, that's not what bothers me. It's just because everything's unfamiliar. The woman in front of me, she's the lifeline saving my family. And she's also my newlywed wife. I let my hand slowly slide down to her waist, with intentions to explore. She leaned close to my ear, breathing softly. I closed my eyes, forcing myself to relax. I could already feel Tina was quite skilled. She gently kissed the side of my face. Does this feel okay? I steadied my breath. Yeah. She smiled and continued. The kisses moved lower. The next day, daylight flooded the room. I was alone in the big bedroom. After freshening up, I found Tina sitting at the dining table. Tina, are you all right? I still preferred calling her by her name. She looked up, her ears turning a shade of pink. Nothing, but her quick lie was soon revealed. I gotta head back to school this afternoon to pack my stuff. Tina was heading to the company, so it was on the way. Just as we stepped out the door, she almost slipped, but I caught her just in time. She was flushed with embarrassment and let me hold her hand, avoiding looking at me directly. Even in the car, I didn't let go. Instead, I sat a little closer, keeping my arm around her waist. Sore? The driver was up front, so I lowered my voice near her ear. I could feel my ears burning up. Huh? A little. Her voice was so small. I chuckled, then gently massaged her side. Monday, the civil affairs office opened. Tina and I got our marriage certificate. That's when I discovered the head of Linda's family wasn't just looking young. She actually was young. At only 25, she was already firmly in charge. When Dad found out, he insisted we bring Tina home for dinner. Maybe it's because the company had a way out. Dad was thrilled, drinking a lot with us. Tina, stay the night, don't rush off. Tina didn't say much, but we drank together. The result was, even after coming out of the bathroom at night, I could see how drunk she really was. Drunk Tina was quite different. I leaned against the headboard, watching her eyes grow darker, a bit uneasy. She came straight at me, suddenly sitting on my lap like a lazy cat leaning on me. I blinked, my mind blank, and subconsciously asked, "Here?" Tina leaned towards my lips, nudging my nose playfully. "Can we?" Halfway through, I started to regret it. I kept my mouth covered, trying not to make a sound. "Why aren't you making any noise?" I breathed a deep sigh, then quietly answered, "My parents' room is next door." Tina snorted softly, immediately changing her position. "Really? Ben, you better hold your ground." That was the first time Tina called me Ben. That night, to keep quiet, Tina left several bite marks on my shoulder. At first, I thought Tina would be this way with anyone as a marriage partner. Later, I found out she had an intense aversion to germs. For 25 years, she'd never let a man near her. Tina started picking me up from school when she could. We were more on a doing more, talking less phase. Probably because of Tina's naturally quiet personality. But somehow, in an unspoken way, we grew closer. Just when I started feeling a bit of attraction to Tina, Linda came back. Linda's welcome home dinner happened when I was still at school. After class, I was sipping peach-flavored soda while waiting for Tina. The timing was perfect. I finished my drink right when I saw her car. As soon as I got in, she leaned over, lifting my chin to steal the air from my lungs. I was stunned for a moment before closing my eyes to go with it. Tina finally pulled back, her face slightly flushed. Had some peaches? She seemed a bit timid about meeting my gaze. Something like that. Her fingers brushed my lips. Meeting Linda. Are you feeling uneasy? I tightened the grip of security quietly. Yeah, I did feel a bit uneasy. But what worried me was Linda might bring up our past to Tina. Afraid Tina would mind that Linda and I were once a thing. Seeing my silence, Tina clearly misunderstood. She reached up, caressing my head, then my earlobe, soothingly. If you really don't want to go, then we can skip it, okay? I snapped back, tentatively kissing her cheek. I'm good. Seeing my resolve, Tina didn't push further. She started the car. When we got there, Tina didn't rush to get out. She leaned in for another kiss. She's always like that. A few kisses before we got in and out of the car. Suddenly the window was tapped, interrupting us. Big sis, is this my brother-in-law? After 3 months, Linda just showed up out of nowhere in front of me. She looked past Tina, giving me a meaningful gaze, her eyes icy cold. At the dinner party, for whatever reason, Linda didn't sit near the main seat. Instead, she sat right next to me. She stared at me intently, but her words were directed at Tina. Your brother-in-law is really handsome. The chatter from the elders in the private room drowned out Linda's voice, so not everyone heard her. I glanced nervously at Tina. I'd never told her about Linda and me, but Tina showed no reaction at all. She smiled quietly and replied, well, he is your brother-in-law. Linda laughed sarcastically and then turned her attention to me. Have you ever been in a relationship, brother-in-law? I froze, my lips moved, but I couldn't answer. Luckily, Linda's grandfather finished his conversation and just happened to hear. Linda, don't be so rude to your brother-in-law. That ended the topic. Tina showed no sign of disturbance. She spoke to me in the same gentle tone, occasionally placing food on my plate. But Linda's stare was too intense, making it hard for me to breathe, so I excused myself to get some air outside. Lost in thought, I was suddenly pulled into a room next door by a force. Linda didn't turn on the light, pushing me against the floor-to-ceiling window. Did you ever do anything with her? She asked softly. None of your business, I replied, turning my face away, feeling nothing but disgust and rejection at her touch, both physically and mentally. But she ignored my words because she saw the red mark on my neck. Linda's face turned unusually dark. Do you believe I could do something to you right now? Huh? My brother-in-law? Her slow and sultry tone sent shivers down my spine. Linda, stop being disgusting. I'm scared I might catch something. Linda scoffed coldly. You just want to stay faithful to Tina, don't you? Do you really think she's that great? Her next words left me in shock. You thought I ran away from my wedding, right? Linda said, emphasizing each word. I'm telling you, I didn't deliberately leave you at the wedding. Tina had someone kidnap me and throw me abroad. You were able to marry her because she planned it all along. I stopped struggling and stared at her without blinking. Just then, the door opened. Light spilled in and I looked up. Tina stood silhouetted against the light. Her voice was still soft, yet it made me feel a chill. What are you two doing? Linda slowly let me go and faced Tina. She crossed her arms, looking perfectly composed. We knew each other before. We were just catching up. Sister, you wouldn't mind, right? Tina approached, smiling, and turned her gaze to me. Is that true? I exhaled deeply, yes. The elders from Linda's family were still next door. Now wasn't the time to spill the beans. Tina linked her arm with mine as we returned to the room, her expression unchanged. It seemed like she hadn't heard any of my conversation with Linda. The drive continued until we reached the parking lot of our villa. "You go on in," Tina said lightly, addressing the driver. With the sound of the car door locking, only the two of us were left inside the car. I couldn't help but want to sit farther away. I was thinking that when Tina suddenly straddled me. I instinctively tried to push her away. "What's the rush?" Tina said, wrapping her arms around my neck, her eyes dark with emotions I couldn't quite read. "We've never done it here." Her hand slowly moved down in a suggestive manner. "Don't," I protested, pushing her shoulders back. Tina unexpectedly pressed even closer. "Why resist?" Her lips curved into a gentle smile, but her voice was icy. "Tina, something's not right." She chuckled. "Because Linda told you some bad things about me today, and you believed her. That's why you're resisting me now. Strange, isn't it?" I felt something unfamiliar about this side of her. A Tina who was usually calm and inscrutable. Yet now, seeing she was suppressing anger, I calmed down. After a couple of seconds, I decided to be honest with Tina. I didn't believe her, but I had doubts. "Did you really do that kind of thing?" Tina raised an eyebrow slightly, seemingly surprised by my sudden calmness. She opened the car door, and without changing position, I carried her to the elevator. As the elevator door closed, she kissed me deeply. In the tangle of lips and teeth, I heard her whisper, "Yes." Still reeling from her admission, I was struck by the realization that Tina was a scheming person and I had fallen for her. The elevator doors opened. Tina had one arm around my neck and with the other tenderly wiped the moisture from the corner of my mouth. I blinked and glanced past her. I had never been to the 4th floor. My mouth opened, but I was too shocked to speak. Behind Tina was a huge semi-cylindrical birdcage, big enough for a person. The birdcage was made of pure silver, with intricate designs on the bars and a plush white carpet laid at the bottom. Tina had me set her down. Then she embraced me from behind. "Do you like it?" I shivered, skipping any polite preamble, and asked directly, "Are you planning to lock me in there?" A soft laugh sounded in my ear. "Of course not." I breathed a sigh of relief. "It's for us to share." Anxiety rose again. "What do you mean?" Tina opened the birdcage door and pulled me inside. Linda's fate was deserved when I sent her overseas. I'll explain it all to you slowly. For now, raise your hands. My hands were shackled by the cage's ceiling, yet I just looked at her, puzzled. Tina's hand slipped under my shirt, resting on my chest, her laughter low. "You didn't want to do it in the car, so we'll do it here. Isn't that fine?" In a moment, I understood why Tina had me assume this position. She was playing darkly. Tina stood behind me, her breath steady as she spoke. Linda had a gambling debt in Las Vegas, and the wedding day was her last payment deadline. She paused, pressing her hand on my waist, leaning in to plant kisses across my shoulders. "Is your waist hurting?" I bit my lip and stayed silent, prompting her to press harder. "Huh? Well, okay." My legs almost gave out. Tina gave a soft smile and continued explaining. "I just made a call to the casino management. The debt is Linda's, and she's the one they kidnapped. Does she think a single sentence can pin all the blame on me?" I nodded casually, my head spinning. I just knew she explained everything clearly. Tina's hand slowly moved up, finally brushing my face. "That's it then." She adjusted slightly. That day, Tina seemed like a different person. I wasn't let go until almost dawn. I even forgot to ask, what was her purpose? And what did Linda mean by, "If you can marry her openly, it's because of her long-term plan"? The question slipped my mind with my busy schedule. The next day, Linda's grandfather wanted to go to Las Vegas. A week later, it was his birthday, and she chose the location just because Linda wanted to go. Linda's grandfather always spoiled her the most. 3 days later, at night on the cruise, Tina and I were on the deck, enjoying the breeze. "Why come here and not play around with me?" A seductive voice accompanied approaching footsteps. Linda and her male companion walked toward us. That male companion was the same guy who fed Linda drinks mouth to mouth at the bar. "Long time no see." He raised an eyebrow meaningfully at me. I looked away, ignoring the unwanted attention. Tina showed no expression either. Though she didn't say, I could guess. Tina knew about my past with Linda. Linda stared directly at me, leaning closer to her male companion. Her smile had a sharp edge. Didn't you see he doesn't want to talk to you? Why bother being so eager? Tina and I ignored her sarcastic tone. A gust of sea breeze passed, and I noticed Tina shiver a bit. I draped my jacket over her, pulling it tight. Cold? Want to head back? Before I could reply, Linda interrupted. What's the rush? She drawled, tilting her head toward Tina. Her eyes were taunting. Sis, want to play around? Las Vegas. The only place in America where gambling is legal. The next deck has its own gambling table. Linda and Tina sat at opposite ends of the long table. Linda flipped her poker cards one-handed, then pushed all her chips forward, adding my entire share of stakes, real estate that Grandpa gave. Tina smiled without a word, waiting for her to finish. Linda glanced at me, raised her chin. I just want him. The air froze instantly. The tension was heavy, only Linda didn't feel it. She kept a relaxed tone. Sis, I'll be up front. I have a thing for your husband. Do you dare to bet? I frowned. Linda, are you crazy? Tina slowly shifted her chips, a leisurely smile on her lips. Sorry. Ben belongs to himself. I don't have the right to decide his fate. Even her refusal was gentle. I looked at Tina, feeling like my admiration for her increased. Tina got up, walked over to Linda's scowling face. She randomly drew 3 cards from her stack, flipped them over, laid them in front of Linda. A straight flush. She rejected Linda's proposal, but also in this way quietly told Linda. Linda's so-called provocations, she didn't take them seriously at all. Linda gritted her teeth, silent. I took Tina's offered hand and left with her, suppressing my smile. My wife is amazing. Back in the room with Tina, just as I was about to praise her, my breath got caught. Noticing, Tina wrapped her arms around my neck and pulled me down, making it easier to hold her and kiss her. Were you happy with what I said at the gambling table? She didn't put much distance between us, kissing me again after she spoke. I nodded, but that wasn't my real thought. Whenever she spoke to me, her tone was always gentle. Ben, you have absolute freedom with me, but the premise is you are mine. How could I think of using you as a wager? I was speechless for a few seconds, then accepted Tina's words. This was the real Tina, soft-spoken and refined on the outside, actually a bit twisted on the inside. Some preferences are twisted too. I thought Linda's embarrassment would make her more restrained last night, but I was wrong. It made her crazier. Early the next morning, Tina whispered a few words in my ear, kissed my forehead, and went to handle a company report. When I woke up again, Linda sitting on the sofa nearby startled me awake. How did you get in here? I threw on a shirt, sat up. Linda stood up, walking towards me at a leisurely pace. I just started to tell her to leave, and she already saw through my intention. Linda sneered. If you don't want a scene, I suggest you not call out. She stood by the bed, looking down at me. Ben, tell me, knowing Tina went to such lengths to marry you, why stay by her side? Huh? You can't have, she said word by word, fallen for her, right? I sat at the other end of the bed, keeping my distance. Tina is my wife. Why wouldn't I like her? Linda's voice was gentle. 5 months ago, you clearly liked me. Why, in less than half a year, can you suddenly like someone else? Ben, did you fall for someone so easily? I took a deep breath, holding back my impatience. Yes, my feelings come easily, and they go easily too. Until seeing you kiss another man in the bar, I liked you. Upon hearing about that day, Linda's lips turned pale. I continued to calmly meet her gaze. But when I saw someone else with you, realizing pursuing me was a mere bet start. Linda, from that moment on, I withdrew all my affection. Because you're not worth it. Linda suddenly broke down, speaking rapidly. I gotta admit, at first, when I started pursuing you, I was just messing around. That's how I approached every one of my relationships. But I don't know when I started actually liking you. When we first broke up, I was acting like I didn't care at all. I shook my head, chuckling lightly, feeling the words sting in my ears. You don't believe me? Huh? Ben, everything I said is true. When Grandpa first told me about an arranged marriage, I immediately refused. But then I found out it was you. My first reaction was that if it were you, I wouldn't mind getting married. It made me realize that I truly liked you. I started looking forward to our wedding. But it all got ruined by Tina. If it weren't for her, I cut her off. If it wasn't for her, every day married to you, I'd live with disgust and self-loathing. Linda stopped, staring at me in shock. Linda, your words only moved yourself. Honestly, what I feel after hearing you is that you're really messed up. She slowly snapped back, with a sly, defiant laugh. Ben, I've changed. Once I realized I liked you, I didn't see anyone else. At least give me a chance to prove it. I was really fed up, and my eyes showed pure disgust. You've got no clue. I've already tied the knot with Tina. Linda pulled up a chair, sitting beside my bed with a casual air like we were just chatting. This is America. All I need is less than 100 grand, and I could hire someone. She curled her lip, saying remote, one shot, dead. That's your own sister. Before I could reply, someone else piped up. Is this how it is? Tina appeared silently, nonchalantly pressing a gun against the back of Linda's head. Linda paused for just 2 seconds before relaxing again. Tina, not pretending anymore? Not gonna play the big sister act? Tina just smiled, remaining silent, but I heard the click of the gun being cocked. Linda raised an eyebrow. Tina, I'm sitting right here, you really gonna pull that trigger? The next second, I saw Tina's finger twitch, followed by the trigger click sound. My eyes widened in shock. Linda flinched too, her face going pale. She was scared after all. After a long silence, the tense atmosphere was broken by Tina's light laugh. She tossed the gun in front of Linda, then casually strolled over to me. Did I scare you? She patted my head, and I was still trying to get hold of myself. Tina hugged me, leaning close to whisper soothingly by my ear. Sorry, Ben, I didn't think about how you'd feel. Linda, realizing slowly, picked up the gun. Damn it, Tina. You tricked me with a toy gun. Tina might have been annoyed by her noise and covered my ears, but I still heard bits of it. Her voice was slow, laced with interest. Not a fan? Well, it's Children's Day today, so I thought you might like this gift. Linda looked dejected and was about to say more when Tina's bodyguards escorted her out. It was satisfying to see Linda shut down, but the fact that Tina didn't warn me in advance and actually scared me led to a silent treatment from me for 3 days. I had no choice but to reconcile 3 days later. Tina was too much. How could she make me kiss her? I gazed at my water-stained lips in the mirror. I need to brush my teeth. I shouted at her in despair, but Tina quickly shut it down. Later, when the server brought a fruit platter, Tina would only pick out the peaches to eat, shamelessly looking my way. Ben, doesn't this remind you of something? When the server came to gather the plates, Tina tipped her with a smile. The peaches were good. The server nodded eagerly, yes ma'am. All the peaches we selected are sweet and juicy. Tina let out a rare chuckle. Seeing her about to speak again, I quickly covered her mouth. The server left with a mysterious look on their face. Then, in resignation, I finally spoke. Fine, I forgive you. Linda couldn't stay quiet for a few days. Actually, Linda's the type who's stubborn to the bone. Once she's set her mind on something, she has to follow through. When we got back from Las Vegas, I found out the deal between Linda and Tina. One day, Tina and I got called back to the Jiang family home. Linda's grandfather seemed unusually pleasant, chatting for half an hour before he got to the point. Ryan and Boda, you two have only been married for half a year. At the start, making you two married despite barely meeting was out of desperation. I was still in the dark about this, but Tina seemed to have caught on, her grip on my hand tightening. Boda was originally supposed to marry Linda. Now that she's back, and if there's no real affection between you two, it's outrageous. He's practically acting as Linda's spokesperson, proposing that I divorce Tina and marry Linda instead. It's ridiculous that Linda roped him in for this too. I maintained a polite smile, but not too polite to cut him off. Grandpa, Ryan and I are doing just fine now. Linda's grandpa was left speechless. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw something move on the second floor. I looked up. Linda, in a black hoodie, leaned against the railing with an apple tossed between her hands. Earphones hung around her neck like she was already on the winning team. It was like she was saying, "There's nothing I want that I can't get." Linda's grandpa just had to look at Tina. He was good at playing the guilt card. "Yuyen, you know the Lin family has never treated you poorly, but we owe Linda." Tina stayed quiet. Her expression grew more reserved. Linda's grandpa sighed. "Just go home and think it over." Back at our place, I kept pestering Tina to tell me about the past. When Linda was 2, she went missing. Her parents were heartbroken. They couldn't find her, and Linda's mom couldn't have more kids. A year later, they decided to adopt from an orphanage. That child was Tina. At first, everyone treated Tina like she was their own. It was like they were trying to make up for losing Linda. Then, when Linda turned 5, by some twist of fate, they found her. From then on, Tina became invisible. It seemed like everyone forgot about her. Overnight, Tina lost favor. Linda despised her, which led others to keep their distance. But Tina couldn't protest at all. She was always told, "Without us, you'd still be in the orphanage living a hard life. Without us, you wouldn't be where you are now." Later, Linda's grandpa decided to groom Tina as the heir only because Linda wasn't interested in the Lin family business. They couldn't have no one to take over. So finally, Linda's grandpa remembered his adopted granddaughter Tina. He taught her strictly but always remained cautious. She was an outsider after all, and they feared she might end up taking over the company entirely. Now, on the surface, Tina seemed to be in charge. In reality, she was hindered at every turn. Being morally manipulated by Linda's grandpa was just normal for her now. "So, Tina?" I felt bold enough to call her by name now. "Are you going to divorce me for that family that owes you so much?" Tina, sitting beside me on the couch, replied, "Do you want to?" I felt a bit defiant as I moved closer to her, whispering, "No, I don't." Tina hugged me and pressed her head into my chest. "Then no one can force you." I snuggled into her soft belly, feeling pleased. Suddenly, a question I'd never asked popped into my head. I turned to face her directly. "Tina, did you like me before we got married?" Tina chuckled softly, gave me a peck on the lips. "What do you want to ask?" My gaze was steady on her. "When did you start liking me?" Back then, when Tina started liking me, I was still Linda's boyfriend. Linda would often video call me without hiding it from Tina. So, she'd heard my voice and seen my face on the screen. She said I wasn't like Linda's past boyfriends. I was too intense. Compared to carefree Linda, I was bound to lose in this relationship. She couldn't pinpoint exactly when she realized she liked me. It was more like piecing together her image of me over time. When she finally met me, that's when it hit her. Every intentional glance was her way of showing she liked me. Tina never shared details about how she refused Linda's grandpa's proposal or how she broke free from the Lin family's control. Maybe some parts were too dark. But my love for Tina wouldn't waver from that. Their years of neglect and harshness towards her made her teenage years even harder than those in the orphanage. Though they did launch her into high society, broaden her horizons. All her dedication, working tirelessly for the company, making it the top in town, already paid the debt back. When things finally calmed down, Linda vanished. Everyone thought she was off somewhere indulging in luxury again. No one paid much mind to her whereabouts. Until a month later, she suddenly showed up. It was the day before summer break when I packed up and waited for Tina by the side of the road. It was quiet around the school at dusk. My shoulder was tapped. I turned around. "Linda?" The next second, a damp cloth covered my mouth and nose. That's where my memory ended before blacking out. I woke up tied in the passenger seat, unable to move. Linda, a girl in a baseball cap, was turning the steering wheel calmly. "A month apart and you're better than I expected. What are you doing?" I asked, trying not to provoke her. "The company's Tina's now, and I'm not interested anyway. I told you all I want is you. Grandpa can't help me. He wants to leave me abroad forever. I had to take you myself." "Where to?" I asked. "I bought an island with part of Grandpa's money." "Ben." She was surprisingly calm for a kidnapper. Stop liking her, alright? Whatever Tina can give you, so can I. After all, I was your first love. Linda, I can't like you again. With or without Tina, it's the same. I tried to divert her attention. You don't see where we went wrong. Linda lifted her chin. Go on. What was it? I saw you kissing another guy while we were dating. I just couldn't get past that. Made me feel dirty. Linda took a deep breath and slammed on the brakes. Ben, you're way too old-fashioned. What century are we in? You're still into that fidelity stuff? I cut off everyone for you. Since the day I planned to marry you, I haven't been with anyone else. I calmly called her out on her lie. In Las Vegas, the next morning, I saw the guy you kissed at the bar leaving your room. Linda slammed the steering wheel. Just that once, I swear. I had too much to drink. Come on, Linda, what's the point? I really don't care who else she's tangled up with. Then what do you want? Linda stared at me. Tight-lipped. What do you want me to do? Let me go back. No way. Let's go down together, then. As we were at a standoff, Linda glanced at the rearview mirror. Then she immediately started the car and slammed the gas pedal. Tina's pretty quick. Huh? She sneered, flooring the gas. The speed scared me a little. 2 police cars were tailing us. I was pale and Linda noticed. She seemed to tap the brakes. Then her face changed. I watched her constantly press the brakes, but the speed didn't drop a bit. The floor mat got stuck on the gas pedal, so the brakes weren't working. Linda, I was all cold and sweaty, palmed. It's okay, Ben, it's okay. She tried pulling the handbrake, doing something else too, but the speed only increased. Ahead were sharp twists and turns. There was no time to think as we crashed into the trees past the guardrail. My body hurt from the impact, but I reckon Linda was hurt worse than me. A second before the crash, she unbuckled her seatbelt and flung herself onto me. Ben. It was Tina's voice. I was in a daze, unable to move. Nearby, there was the sound of dripping water. I smelled gasoline. The fuel tank was leaking, and the car seemed like it was about to blow up. Linda was completely unconscious. Just when I thought I was going to die there, Tina pushed through the shattered window and dragged me out. A few seconds later, I heard the roar of an explosion behind me. In that car accident, I miraculously ended up getting injured the least. Mostly scratches. Tina, though, since she shielded me when the car exploded, her right leg got hurt. Even after the wounds heal and she's discharged from the hospital, she would still need 3 months of full recovery. As for Linda, she's still in the ICU. The doctor said at least her life is saved. Her sentencing will be postponed for now, too. When I heard that she survived, I sighed in relief. This tiny detail didn't escape Tina. Ben, are you worried about her? She leaned against the headboard, closing her book. I shook my head. She's getting what she deserves, and you're lying here because of her. I don't sympathize with her. But still, she shielded me at the last second. If she just died, I guess I'd feel pretty conflicted. Tina almost laughed but held it in. Good thing she didn't die. I chuckled, leaned in, and gave Tina a loud kiss. Wow, Tina. How did I not realize how stingy you are before? Tina tilted her head, looking for my lips. After finishing a quiet kiss, her hands were already around my neck. Ben. Her voice was teasing. I blinked, understanding her hint. But your leg still isn't better. Her hand was already inching upward. So, I need you to lean in close. How? Lie beside me, Tina softly suggested. Moonlight spilled across the floor, casting rising and falling shadows.